Why are you both disregarding my feelings? My anger from yesterday hadn't subsided, so when I confronted them, my tone was harsher than usual. Their response? We're just moving your stuff out of the room. It's spacious and perfect for Samantha's new room. They completely ignored what I said yesterday and proceeded to remove my belongings without even asking. Did you forget what I said yesterday? Stop this nonsense right now, Jennifer. Know your place. I'm the one paying the rent here. What right do you have to oppose my decisions? Mark fired back, his voice filled with criticism. Samantha, standing next to him, wore a smug smile. I'm the one paying the bills. You who haven't contributed a single dollar have no say in this. If you can't follow my decisions, maybe we should just get a divorce. My name is Samantha, a busy 28-year-old corporate worker married for 4 years to Mark, my husband of the same age. He's considered a rising star at his company, striving to meet high expectations. We reside in a fully renovated, somewhat spacious house initially chosen with thoughts of a future with kids. Despite our ups and downs, we've always talked things out, and I believed we were happily married. However, that day I arrived home later than usual due to work, only to find a woman's coat hanging by the entrance, an unfamiliar one. Opening the door to the living room, I was greeted by Jennifer, my sister-in-law, who said, Samantha, long time no see. You were late, so we started without you. Jennifer, 24, Mark's younger sister, had always been a source of tension between us. Despite her achievements in education and career, she enjoyed looking down on me, often slipping condescending comments. Despite my efforts to let things go, Jennifer became more audacious. Having had enough, I decided to cut her out of my life. However, that wasn't the sole reason. John's behavior towards me also played a significant role. John is typically considerate and mild-mannered when it's just the two of us. Yet when Jennifer is around, he becomes equally condescending. I'm unsure if he's showing off for his sister, but he starts treating me poorly despite my warnings. Jennifer's behavior never changed. She added to the mix, questioning my late working hours. Working late again, Samantha? I always wrap up on time. Are you overwhelmed or just slow at work? Fueled by alcohol, Jennifer began talking down to me more directly than usual. Dealing with Jennifer alone is usually bearable, but when my husband Mark, who is also her brother, joins in while intoxicated, it becomes unbearable. Come on, Jen. Not everyone is as efficient as you. Some people have to work twice as hard just to be average. Look, not many people are as capable as us siblings. We can judge everyone by our standards. You're so right, sorry, Samantha. I guess I was being a bit too judgmental. Mark joined in, siding with Jennifer. The Mark before me felt like a different person, looking down on me alongside Jennifer. Despite wanting to fire back, I decided to put on a fake smile to avoid complicating things. Eventually, Jennifer left just before midnight. I didn't want to clean up so late, especially since the mess was made by Mark and Jennifer, not me. However, it's my house, so I knew I had to do it. Mark, seemingly unperturbed, gave me orders to clean up. Look, it's already late. I'm going to bed, Samantha. You clean all this up. At that moment, I couldn't hold back any longer. What's with that tone? Why do I have to clean everything up? You and Jennifer made the mess, you clean it up. Why do you expect me to do it right from the start? Don't you think that's strange? Mark seemed taken aback by my sudden outburst but became even more stubborn, insisting that I had to clean up. I make more money than you. Stop giving me lip when you earn less. If you can't listen, then let's just divorce. Why are you bringing up money? That has nothing to do with this. Clean up your own mess. Talking about divorce over something like this, Mark, don't you think what you're saying is crazy? Shut up, just clean it all up. That's your job, he said, stating what he had to say before going to the bedroom. In the end, I cleaned everything up by myself, and the next morning, Mark was still in a bad mood. Knowing that talking would only worsen things, I avoided any conversation with him. Despite my desire to reconcile quickly with Mark, we both left the house without resolving our issues that day. I ended up coming home late again, and as I walked back into the house, my steps felt heavy. Both work and home life were in disarray, and I knew I needed to resolve things swiftly as the situation was only deteriorating with time. I couldn't afford to be in conflict with John at a time like this. My plan was to apologize to Mark no matter what he said and make amends. Focused on this goal, I opened the front door only to see the same coat from yesterday. Familiar voices echoed from the living room, and I thought, you've got to be kidding me. She's here again. As much as I hoped I was wrong, when I walked into the living room, Jennifer was there, just like yesterday, drinking and making a mess with Mark. Samantha, thank you for working so hard late every day. We started without you because you never seemed to come home, Jennifer sarcastically commented. I wanted to make up with Mark right away, but with Jennifer being there, that seemed impossible. I genuinely felt Jennifer was in the way, yet no one in the room understood my thoughts. We started because you never came home, even though we waited for you. Can't you come home earlier now? Mark piled on with Jennifer's sarcasm. I couldn't understand why I was being blamed for something we never agreed upon. Moments ago, I was eager to make up with Mark, but now my spirit deflated rapidly. Why am I thinking so much for these people? This thought began to sprout in my mind. Unaware of my inner turmoil, Mark said something outrageous. By the way, Jennifer will be moving into our house next month. Make room for her by clearing out some of your stuff. Upon hearing Mark's words, all my pent-up frustration exploded. Hold on. What's this all about? This is the first time I've heard about this. Explain, Mark. Mark seemed startled by my sudden change of attitude, but he quickly reverted to his arrogant demeanor around Jennifer. Of course, it's the first time you've heard it. I'm just telling you now, and Jennifer is going to live here. What about her husband? They're not both moving in, are they? Her husband? Oh, you mean her ex-husband ex? What's going on? The full picture eludes me. Jennifer recently went through a divorce, her ex moved out, and she's been living alone. Her lease is up at the end of the month. Isn't this a golden opportunity? The space here is ample, and we can save on rent. Why didn't you tell me about something so important? I rapidly lost faith in Mark as he planned this all by himself and informed me while intoxicated. While I confronted Mark, Jennifer watched with a snide grin. Just accept it, Samantha. It's already decided. I won't accept it. What are you saying, Mark? Mark was taken aback. I won't accept Jennifer living here with us. The one who's out of line here is you, Mark. I glared at both of them. I don't know what the two of you are planning, but I absolutely disagree. Sober up and think about what you're doing instead of making up. I retreated to a separate room, spending the day alone just like yesterday. The next morning, I was awakened by a loud noise. Opening my bedroom door and glancing down the hallway, I saw Mark and Jennifer messing around with my stuff and furniture. What do you think you're doing? Still fuming from yesterday, I confronted them more assertively than usual. We're cleaning your stuff from the room. That room is big and perfect for Jennifer, don't you think? Ignoring my previous objections, they moved my belongings without my consent. Did you forget what I said yesterday? Stop this nonsense right now. Do you even know your place, Mark? I'm the one paying the rent for this house. What right do you have to oppose what I decide? Mark retorted in a condemning tone, with Jennifer watching me with a smug smile. I'm the one paying the rent, so you, who hasn't contributed a single dollar, have no say. If you can't listen, maybe we should just get divorced. Divorce? This has to be a joke. What on earth is Mark talking about? I froze, not comprehending his words. Misinterpreting my silence, Jennifer chimed in. Do you even understand your position, Samantha? You hadn't paid a dime. Your arguments have no weight. Why don't you just give up? You're just making yourself look pathetic at this point. Any lingering affection I had for these siblings had completely vanished. I wanted nothing to do with them anymore. That much was clear to me. Let's take this conversation to the living room. I propose we all move to the living room. Initially met with complaints, they reluctantly followed when I offered to make coffee. I handed them their cups and turned back to Mark. Look, I've been saying this since yesterday. I didn't agree to let Jennifer move in, so please pack her things up right now. What are you talking about? I've said this multiple times. I'm the one who pays the rent for this place. It's my house, so you should listen to me. If you can't, we're getting a divorce. Are you okay with that? You keep saying you're paying the rent. Rent. It's your house. But Mark, do you really believe that? Of course. What are you even talking about? Actually, this is my house. What? Are you lying because you're upset? No lies here. I inherited this house from my dad when he passed away. It became mine. In other words, I own this place. Do you get it now? You're lying. If your dad built it, why is it so new? It should be old, right? Do you know what renovation means, Mark? My dad had the house fully renovated before he went to the hospital. That's why it looks so new. I never mentioned it to you because it was before we got married. Their confident attitudes from before are gone, replaced by silence. But I'm not done talking. I've come this far, I need to say it all, whether they get it or not. I'd had enough. Even if you're paying rent, this is still my house, Mark. You're not paying any rent. What you've been paying are our living expenses as a couple. Why would I lie at this point? Remember, you left all the housing paperwork to me, so you didn't even know. Do you even know the average rent in this area? You're just embarrassing yourself. If that's the case, I'll start paying the rent from now on. Can you afford that, Mr. Unemployed? What, unemployed? What are you talking about, Samantha? It seems you've been making some bad choices, big losses, right? You might have thought you've been hiding it, but your company knows. You should worry about that. You'll likely hear from them after the weekend. They probably thought nobody knew. Mark is clearly rattled by what I've said. How? Why? Why do you know this? He's so shaken he can barely speak. Well, I've kept it a secret, but your company is actually owned by my relatives. They've been lenient, but you've pushed too far. Even the company has decided they can't keep you. They warned me first because it affects me too. Oliver had become uncharacteristically quiet. Jennifer, who was listening to my story, was visibly shaken. Hold on a minute. Are you saying Mark's getting fired? Is this house really yours, Samantha? Then where am I supposed to live starting next month? I'd already canceled my lease, you know. It was unclear whether Jennifer's questions were directed at me or Mark, but she was clearly stunned, struggling to grasp the situation. This is my house and I decide who lives here. At least for now, I can't live with you anymore, Mark. Let's go ahead with the divorce you suggested. He can't take that back now. And just to be clear, I have no intention of living with you either, Jennifer. Where you live for the next month is none of my concern. Actually, just stop involving me in your lives. I wasn't sure if they were really listening, but I had said all I needed to say. From here on, it's their problem and I have nothing to do with it. So put my things back where they were. Once that's done, pack your stuff and leave this house. I don't want to see either of your faces anymore. By the end of the day, I had kicked both of them out of the house. The last time I saw their faces after that, I left all the procedures to my lawyers to avoid any complications. Mark didn't make any fuss, probably realizing he had no choice. Thanks to that, the divorce went smoothly. I heard they both moved back to their parents' homes. Mark ended up with a mountain of debt between the settlement he owed me and damages from his company. He seems to be working day and night to pay it off. As for me, I'm enjoying a relaxed life in the house I inherited from my dad. I plan to savor this freedom for a while. As the days passed, I found solace in the quietude of my home, no longer disrupted by the discord Mark and Jennifer brought with them. The legal proceedings for the divorce progressed smoothly, and soon I was officially free from the tumultuous marriage. The weight lifted from my shoulders, allowing me to focus on rebuilding my life. With newfound independence, I rekindled relationships with friends and family that had been strained during my marriage. They had witnessed the changes in my demeanor, the moments of frustration, and the tears I tried so hard to conceal. Now, with a supportive network around me, I began to rediscover the strength and resilience that had been overshadowed for too long. In the midst of this rediscovery, I decided to make some changes to the house, turning it into a space that truly reflected me. I rearranged the furniture, added touches of my favorite colors, and transformed it into a sanctuary of peace and tranquility. The house that had once been a battleground was now my haven. As for Mark and Jennifer, they faced the consequences of their actions. Mark struggled with the financial burdens, working tirelessly to repay the debts he had accrued. His once promising career took a hit, and the reality of his choices became apparent. Jennifer, on the other hand, found herself in a difficult position, having canceled her lease without a clear plan for the future. While I sympathized with their challenges, I knew I couldn't let their choices dictate my happiness any longer. The legal matters were settled, and I focused on forging a new path forward. The newfound freedom allowed me to explore opportunities I had put on hold, both personally and professionally. Months went by, and the echoes of the past gradually faded. I found joy in simple pleasures, the quiet evenings in my renovated home, the support of friends who stood by me, and the sense of accomplishment that came with reclaiming my life. The scars of the past served as reminders of the strength I had found within myself. As I reflected on the journey, I realized that life is a constant ebb and flow, and sometimes the most challenging moments lead to the most profound growth. The experience with Mark and Jennifer, while painful, had taught me valuable lessons about self-worth, resilience, and the importance of setting boundaries. With each passing day, the wounds healed, and I embraced the newfound chapter of my life with gratitude. The once turbulent house became a symbol of triumph, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And in the quiet moments, I found peace, a peace that emanated from within, a peace that no external turmoil could shatter.